Good afternoon. It is about 12:35 in Colorado Mountain Time. Figured I would do an impromptu video. Salt, sugars, cholesterol, and premature death. I shaved my mustache. Betsy doesn't like it, but I shaved it. I'll probably grow it back for her. Recently, I had another death in my network. It was a close friend from high school. Well, we were separated by a few thousand miles, but he passed away yesterday. And 2 days before that, he was in Florida posting beautiful pictures about, how great life is, and he died suddenly. This year alone, in 2019, that's the third death that I've had. That's a close friend. Well, I don't want to say close, but they were personal friends from high school, and they died this year between the ages of 49 and 50 years of age. Makes me sad. It makes me mad, and it makes me upset. And unfortunately, they're part of my network, and they never watch or they never comment, and they don't follow my feeds. And it just sucks, and I'm very, very upset about it. Hopefully this won't be one of those videos where I actually cry on live feed, but you know what? If it happens, it happens. I'm very emotional, and I'm very charged by trying to share as much information with all of you as possible. The smallest changes can have the largest impacts, and it bothers me so bad to be surrounded by, I'm going to say in the last 18 months, I've lost 12 people from high school, from my childhood, in the ages of between, 47, 48 to the ages of 51 years of age, and it disturbs me greatly. I found out about this recent friend last night, and it kept me up all night long. I could see his face. I went to his timeline. I get to see all of the RIPs, and it was heart related, and it was a sudden cardiac death. And 2 days beforehand, he was posting pictures of sunsets and how great life is. And he was morbidly obese, and he was enjoying the local fish and the local meats and all the high salts and all the high oils. I know what to say. We were brought up on those things, and our palates will definitely change. It's killing everybody around me. My network is pretty vast, and internationally, I would say once a week, a death is reported to me. And they're not elderly, they're not old, they're young, they're in our age group. Between 30 and 55 years of age, everybody around me is passing. And I know for a fact that it's foodborne, and it bothers me greatly. So I know that salts and sugars, everybody thinks they're benign, but they're not. They are one of the main contributors to cardiovascular disease. And I get a lot of comments when I tell people not to eat nuts, seeds, or avocados, but they will contribute as well if you're hypersensitive to cholesterol, which I've shared in other videos, and we can cover that. But, for this, I'm going to try to remain focused and try to remain positive. And I feel naked without my mustache, but that's fine. Salts. Let me cover salts first. Yeah, salt is great. Salt tastes fantastic. It enhances the flavors of foods, and that's only as a result of our palates expecting those things. When I used to eat meat, and as a commercial chef, when I would prepare meats, it's been years now, but yeah, if you notice, animal products, whether it's seafood, lamb, chicken, beef, steak, if you take salt away, it doesn't taste very good. It's pretty bland. That should be very telling to a lot of people. And what do you do? Not only is that meat carcinogenic, not only is that that it's very high in saturated fats, trans fats, cholesterol, you got to add salt on top of it. When you put those two things in the combination together, your cardiovascular system freaks out. It constricts the blood vessels in your arteries within 1 hour. And that reduces oxygen levels in our blood. Our heart rates start increasing. Our blood pressure starts rising. Biology is trying to compensate for the food that you put into your body that didn't need to be there. So when your blood pressure rises, your heart's trying to compensate for it. Your blood vessels are freaking out. Your oxygen levels are dropping very rapidly because of the constriction. And it starts killing cells. Your red blood cells start dying. Um, you know, when we feel lethargic after a giant meal, and the vegans and plant-based lifestyles that are in my network, we don't experience that. We don't get that Thanksgiving, I need to lay on the couch and go take a nap. The reason is that our arteries are open. They're not constricted. We're not tired as a result of lack of oxygen through our bodies. It's interesting that during Thanksgiving, people blame it on tryptophan that's in turkey. I got to be honest with you. There's more tryptophan in the plant kingdom than there is in turkey. Turkey has a very minuscule amount of tryptophan. Tryptophan in meat doesn't make you tired. The reason why you're tired is because your blood vessels are constricted. You're tired because of lack of oxygen. You're tired because of you consume so many calories that your body has to over process. So that's why you have relatives and family that sleep on the couch after, Thanksgiving dinner. Me, not only do I cook it, not only do I eat it, but I could race around and clean up and, I'm basically putting blankets on people if they're sleeping. I'm not that guy. And those are my network that are plant-based stylers will know that we don't get tired after meals like that because the nutritional density of the foods that we're consuming and the dilation of our arteries is increasing blood flow. It's the opposite of meat eaters consuming these foods. There's a huge difference between what we do and what even omnivores are doing because their blood vessels are being constricted. So last night when my friend was reported to me by another friend that he had passed away, he was morbidly obese. I could tell he was unhealthy. I could look at the sclera, the whites of his eyes, the rings under his eyes, his obesity, and it's very upsetting to me because I know for a fact that he thought he was living a high lifestyle and he had passed. Well, he doesn't know he's dead, obviously, but his family and friends and his network does. It was as a result of dietary choices. So I want to cover the salts and the sugars because those things there's so much controversy around them. Cardiovascular disease is the number one killer on our planet, bar none, for men and women. Cardiovascular disease, an SCD, it's sudden cardiac death. Just because you have a heart attack doesn't mean you're going to come back from it. Your heart could start fluttering and they may not be able to restart it. If this occurs when you're by yourself, it's practically 100% guarantee that you're going to pass. If you do it in the company in a restaurant, the chances are you're still going to pass then too, because your arteries are probably clogged as a result of atherosclerosis. I don't think that what we put in our mouth should justify the length of time that we're allowed to be here on Earth. And those of you that don't know me, I did die in 2016 from congestive heart failure. I've been to the other side, and you know what's on there? Darkness. There was nothing there. There was nobody greeting me with open arms. There was no bright light. It was blackout, like when you go to sleep at night and you wake up in the morning, you miss those hours in between. That's what death was for my experience. Now, I know there's a lot of different, near-death or after-death experiences that people share, but I'm going to tell you my personal experiences. When you're dead, you're dead. It's gone. It's over. Very sad. It bothers me, and I don't want to go back to that place again anytime soon. So the adjustments that I've made and the upwards of 1,000 people that I've helped, I hope that you stick to the protocols because it makes a big difference. Well, that's kind of off subject. Stevia, it's okay to a certain extent. If you exceed 2 tablespoons per day of stevia, it's going to cause intestinal distress, intestinal imbalance. It's also going to change your gut biome. We don't want to feed our gut biome synthetic I used to buy the sativa plants. I would grow them green and I would eat the leaves. There's a certain level of saturation with stevia that will also cause an increase in over pancreatic excretions through insulin that is very negative. So no, I'm not going to grow stevia again, and I don't recommend anybody take that in. It's bad, and I got to tell you, the other side of stevia and all of these non-sugar sugars, and I've said this, man, in about 9 or 10 other previous videos, you are ruining your palate. You're trying to replace a bad sugar with a synthetic sugar, even though stevia is natural. Your palate won't change, so that you're going to constantly crave sugar. You need to back that down. Go to fruit sugars. Go to fructose in the form of natural fruit, non-cooked, non-compotes. And I know that a lot of my customers like the compotes I put together, but they're sweetened with date sugar, and date sugar is a whole food. It's 100% natural. It doesn't cause a spike in pancreatic excretions of insulin. And blueberries will mitigate high rises in glucose, especially if you eat starches. And I covered this earlier today. And I'm going to keep the Q&A open. We're going to lose a lot of people probably rather rapidly when these feeds go longer than 20 minutes. So let me just try to stick to the top 3 things, and then I will stay on as long as everybody has questions. I mean, I think that's pretty fair. Cardiovascular disease risks include cholesterol. Now, there's no cholesterol in the plant kingdom, and I've covered this a lot. One of the major contributors on a vegan diet to cardiovascular disease is coconut oil, safflower oil, olive oil. Number 1 major contributor to over cholesterol. Contradiction, right? There's no cholesterol in those foods. When you extract all the fiber and all the nutrients and all the other portions of the macro and micronutrient scale from coconuts, and you put in coconut oil, it is a 100% catalyst for cardiovascular disease across the board. It's 100% guaranteed. It's 100%. So those of you that take in coconut oil and you're so proud of it, within 5 to 10 years, you're going to have cardiovascular disease. It's pretty scientific. And I wish I could be like some of these other groups where they've got these videos where everybody's all happy. My videos are more serious, and I apologize for that. And I was hoping that going to 2019 that I could be more friendly and have cool video editing. And no, I just don't have the time. I prepare 100 to 200 meals a week, whole food plant-based meals for clients. I do a lot of phone support, 30 to 40 calls a week. So I can't do cool video editing. So when I do these impromptu videos, I want to make sure that I can get in, answer all your questions, hopefully make an impression, corroborate it with the evidence that I support, and hopefully it makes a difference in your lives. So I'm going to look at this video afterwards, and I'm not going to be smiling enough, and maybe it's because my mustache is gone, but I want to get to the point, and I want to be friendly, and I want to be loving, and I want to be supportive. So I am those things. But we need to address these points that social media is destroying. The fact that when you eat these other oils, it's going to cause your liver to over-exacerbate the excretion of cholesterol. It's a scientific fact. It just happens. Dr. Ornish, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Now, if you go to Dr. McDougall and Dr. Greger, they're going to show some different results. But if you have a result of, oh, thank you so much, Elizabeth. Jesus Christmas. Did you hear that? I covered the black window with a screen with some, and it's windy here, so I just got scared. So anyway, not too jumpy, are we? Well, good. It's on video, so you guys got to see that. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. Catalysts for cardiovascular disease are cholesterol in the form of animal products and cholesterol as a result of plant fats that our livers will create in excess of cholesterol. Number 2, salts. Salts as a catalyst for cardiovascular disease and kidney failure, renal failure, kidney distress. Salts. It causes your body to retain water. Our cells will inflate with liquid, well, which is water, because we're taking it, and it retains it. It results in edema. It results in over-exacerbation of cardiovascular stress, because the heart's going to start pumping faster. It's going to rise your blood pressure up because you are at a deficit for red blood cells that contain oxygen. Number 2 is sugar. Sugar increases triglycerides. Triglycerides are fats. Now, interestingly enough, there's no fat in sugar, but triglycerides are as a result of an overconsumption of sugars, with the exception of fructose. Fructose that is naturally unprocessed, with the exception of date sugar and blackstrap molasses. They're the only two exceptions to this rule. The only two exceptions to the rule, scientifically, absolutely internationally across hundreds of studies. Those two sugars are fine. Fruits are not going to create triglycerides. They're just not. Fructose is not converted. It's sucralose. And processed table sugars are going to increase your triglycerides, which is interesting because it creates cholesterol. It might be a little lipid cholesterol, which is really, really bad. It'll lower your LDL and it'll raise your LDL, which is super, super bad. Here's something else I get a lot of flack for. Chef Jeff, moderation, everything in moderation. And here's my favorite quote. Dr. Michael Greger, here's his definition of moderation, which includes you people that are also eating coconut oils. No coconut oil. Moderation kills. And here's the reason why it kills. If you want to break your toe, you could hit yourself with a very small hammer, or you can hit yourself with a large hammer and get it done very quickly. Here's the problem with that. The end result is going to be exactly the same. Eventually, you will break your toe. Eventually, you will get heart disease. Eventually, you will get type 2 diabetes. Eventually, you will get hypertension. Moderation will kill you slowly, or just do it rapidly and go to KFC and eat all the sugars and all the processed foods and get it done quick. That's the fact of that matter. Maggie says, say it again about blueberries. It was not clear to her. Okay, well, incidentally, Stacy, maple syrup converts to high fructose corn syrup metabolically. It might be different at the cellular level, but maple syrup converts to, organic or not, high levels of glucose. And what it does is it taxes your pancreas. When our pancreas is taxed, it causes an influx of insulin. It is scientifically proven that high levels of insulin will, I don't want to use these percentages because it's different across the studies that I read, which are international studies. I do this research 8 hours a day. There's a lot of conflicting information. But when our pancreas increases insulin output to control the sugar that's in our blood, it causes cancer. And it causes cancer in women more frequently than men. Women's physiological makeup is so much more complicated than men. Men will get colon cancer, liver cancer, and pancreatic cancer potentially quicker than women because our systems are much more simplistic. Women will get ovarian, cervical, vaginal cancers, endothelial cancers. The list goes on and on because of the amount of hormones that are raging through the female anatomy. So dairy, cheese, eggs in females increases your chances of cancer by 100+%. Now, I know there isn't 100% in 100%, but what that means is if the studies show that will increase your chances of receiving a female cancer by 135%, I would say that's pretty guaranteed. It means that you are on the path that you will absolutely undeniably get female cancer. Now, the deaths that I had in the last 18 months, I would say 20% were women, and they were as a result of breast cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, stage 4, dead. Now, they took the protocols their doctors gave them, which included eggs and fish and the Mediterranean diet. It killed them. It put them over the edge, and their bodies couldn't recover from it. Men is colon and heart attacks. Men die suddenly, instantly dead, unresurrectable, and it's nearly according to Caldwell Esselstyn, it's 99.6% foodborne. And he has the highest success rate on recovery from cardiovascular disease. I did it myself. I've assisted 40 to 50 people reversing cardiovascular disease and congestive heart failure. And as of to this morning, 142 cases of type 2 diabetes, fully reversed, doctor verified, sent me their blood work. I have 130 blood works on file now. The protocols work. The percentage of people that don't recover from the protocols that I embrace, which are not my own, I'm embracing nutritional science by the top guys, they can't stick to the protocol and eventually they regress. Their weight comes back up, their A1C scores start climbing, their cholesterol levels start rising. So I didn't forget, blueberries. Blueberries, when added in combination with, I'm going to say, high glycemic starches, which diabetics are not supposed to eat because it causes a rapid rise in blood glucose levels. For whatever reason, I know you think that, well, ever eat a blueberry raw? They're not very sweet. They have fructose in them, but the powerful antioxidant that's in blueberries and black and brown and blue foods is called anthocyanin. Those of you that follow me know for a fact, thank you, Melody, that I am such an advocate for these dark foods because of anthocyanin. There's an antioxidant called beta-lane that's in beets. And for years ago, I used to call it anthocyanin, but it's not. It's a very slight variation to anthocyanin. It's a very powerful phytonutrient. It's a very powerful antioxidant, but it's slightly different. They named it differently due to its molecular makeup. However, the antioxidant properties and the phytonutrient aspects of what it does to our bodies is exactly the same. Eat your beets, eat your turmeric, and they're dilators. They're arterial wall dilators, which means that the nitrates convert to nitrites, which convert to nitric oxide. And I know this gets all crazy science, and I hate to do this, but nitric oxide is good. It relaxes the arterial walls, which increases blood flow. Increased blood flow increases red blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen, and oxygen fuels our entire system. When oxygen levels are low, it increases our acidity levels in our blood. Everybody wants to eat an alkaline diet. Don't eat acidic foods. Eat a lemon and you'll be alkaline. No, that's not how that works. 3 years ago, I created my group. It was Chef Jeff's Alkalinity Solutions to whatever. I don't even remember. Due to extensive research, the idea of ingesting foods to increase blood level of alkalinity is absolutely mooted. It doesn't exist. You cannot control alkalinity or acidity in your body through diet. Scientifically proven, you absolutely cannot. Anybody that's a member of an alkaline group, I suggest that you remove yourself. Those of you that might even have alkaline groups, I'm sorry. Do what I did. Rename it. Change the name. Step yourself up to the current science because here's why. Respiration in our lungs can increase and decrease our body's alkalinity or our body's acidity. Our livers, well, not our livers, our kidneys increase or decrease and control acidity and alkalinity. What you put into your body, here's what the caveat is, will make it easier so that your organs can balance homeostasis. Everybody uses this word on social media and it drives me nuts. Anyone who's been to medical school, and I've got dozens and dozens and dozens of doctors and research scientists in my network that know this through education and through lab research, that's not how our bodies work. You need to make it easier for our bodies to do what they're intended to do, right? Think of your body as a perfect machine, and if you give it the right things, let it do what it's intended to do. You're not going to take in lemon water and rise your alkalinity. You're not going to remove meat from your diet and lower acidity. That is not how it works. That is just absolutely not how it works. What it does do, if you did remove animal products from your diet, it's going to take the burden off of your respiration and off of your kidneys with bicarbonate release, controlling hydrogen and nitrogen through your blood. That's going to bring homeostasis into where it needs to be, which is about 7.35 on the pH scale. So, yes, a whole food plant-based diet is an alkaline-rich diet. It doesn't raise your blood alkaline levels. Your body balances it on its own. Every single solitary group and doctor that states that eating alkaline raises alkalinity is 100,000,000% wrong. It's not science. It doesn't make any sense at all. Our body does it. But through our dietary choices, we can make it easier for biology to balance what it does every second of every minute of every hour of every day. We don't want to stress or tax our organs that balance homeostasis through acidity on the pH scale, acids and bases. Dr. Robert Morse is a little fruitcake as far as I'm concerned, and I think that he's off kilt when it comes to eating foods that raise alkalinity, because it's scientifically, biologically, it's chemically inaccurate. So, good afternoon, Adriana. Thank you for joining. So anyway, I'm kind of on a rant regarding alkalinity and acidity. Let's remove as many acidic foods from our diet as possible and let our biology control through respiration and bicarbonate release and through our kidney systems to balance our pH, and it'll go back to 7.35 optimal range. You can continue to eat meat. Let's put it this way. If you are a hardcore carnivore and these raw diets are so popular, it's driving me batty. They're not dead. I mean, they might be going to die of heart disease, but their bodies are not in a state of acidosis because they're eating raw meat. Why? The lungs, through respiration, and our kidneys, through bicarbonate release, are balancing the pH, but they're overactive. It's going to eventually cause kidney disease because it's overused. Excess sugars and processed foods will tax our pancreas, which will eventually potentially cause pancreatic cancer. It might cause type 1 diabetes in adults, because if the pancreas can't release enough insulin because it's dying because we overtaxed it, yeah, we're not going to be able to mitigate the rise in glucose. The body's a perfect machine. We need to follow the right protocols that make sure that the body does what it's supposed to do. So, with that said, we need to reduce our salt intake. Now, here's something also interesting. A low sodium diet through the majority of hospitals and medical professionals. Stacy, well, I hate to say this, you're 100% inaccurate. Diet does not control alkalinity in the blood. I'm going to reiterate this again because I'm going to get comments like this. It has nothing to do with biology. It has nothing to do with chemistry. A raw diet is detrimental to our health based on the state of your digestive system, your gut biome, and I can cover that. You know what? Let's take the rest of this live feed and I'm going to do straight up open Q&A. I like responding live. I'm not looking anything up. This is all information I'm very acclimated with, and I'm prepared to answer these questions. A raw diet, first off, it degrades your nutritional absorbency by over 20 to 25%. There's a reason for that. The thick cellular walls of raw foods cannot be broken down during, it's called peristalsis. You could look it up. It's the process of our bodies through digestion that breaks down foods for our bodies to metabolize the nutrients. You can look it up. Dr. Greger, all the doctors have videos on this. It's a 20 to 25% degradation in nutrient absorption because it'll make it into your bowel and into your poop with nutrients and fiber intact because it didn't have enough time to digest those raw foods. No, raw food does not increase alkalinity. It's not good for alkalinity at all. You could eat a head of broccoli and someone else could eat a raw pork steak and your body will maintain the 7.x alkalinity. You're not doing anything beneficial at all. If anything, see, here's a problem with the raw diet. You need to eat 25+% more raw food in order to get, here's a few things. If you're eating raw, it's a good thing. I'm not going to degrade raw because raw does work, right? It will detax respiration. It will detax your kidneys. So homeostasis could balance the pH a lot easier, right? Because we're not taking in acids. We're not drinking acid out of batteries. The problem is that now your immune system and your digestive tract has to work overtime to break down cellular walls to get to the wholesome goodness inside. And most of it gets passed. Most of it will get passed. You're going to have to eat 25% more calories. Otherwise, you will feel lethargic. You will have intestinal distress. Your gut biome is going to freak out. You're going to have excessive gas, excessive bloating, migraine type symptoms, joint aches, inflammation, water retention on a raw diet because your metabolism is freaking out because it can't break down through those thick foods that you're trying to digest. Now, there's also a problem with, no, salads are fantastic, Gabriella. This is my take on salads, and I teach this in my live classes at National Jewish and my personal counseling all the time. When you build a salad, here's a good rule. Everybody pay attention to this one because this is a really good one. If you're going to build a salad and you can't take that salad and stick it into like a wok or a frying pan and saute it, it's the wrong composition. Your salads need to be, you have to take a salad that is dense enough in the right greens, that are dense greens, dense colors, and they're enough that you could heat them and not be all mushy and yucky. Those are the salads you want to make. Salads that you could eat today and create a stir fry from tomorrow without them being all mushy and soggy, those are the salads you want to build. It's going to make a huge difference because a lot of these light greens, you don't want to, well, here's a good example. Cucumbers are great. You don't want to put it in a stir fry, so remove it. Romaine lettuce, these light leaf lettuces, iceberg lettuce, you wouldn't put that in a stir fry. I mean, I have. It's kind of good, but it's 99% water, so you want to exclude that from a salad because you're filling up room in your stomach where you need to be filling it with more nutrient-dense foods. Nutrient density over calories. I can't stress that enough in my classes. It's not your caloric intake. It's how many nutrients per calorie we're ingesting. That's what makes a difference. People are curious about my caloric intake. I'm a big guy. I work out. I can run. I bike. We go to the gym. 1,710 calories a day. Oh my God, Jeff, how are you living? I've posted my blood work. Everybody sees my blood work. It's public knowledge. I get an echocardiogram in, 4 weeks. I'm going to post that again. It'll be my 5th echocardiogram for my congestive heart failure recovery. This Saturday, for those of you that are local to Colorado, well, Colorado is kind of a big place. I am the guest speaker for cardiovascular recovery with my plant-based cardiologist at Walk with a Doc here in central Colorado. So if those of you hit me up, if you're able to attend, we'll get between 75 and 150 attendees. I'm the guest speaker. You could walk with me. You could hear my lecture. You could ask me questions. And then next Saturday is my class at National Jewish. About 50 every month attend. We're going to do transitioning to a plant-based diet with advanced open Q&A. So people could drill me on, advanced calories, advanced nutrition information, metabolism, in addition to the beginners that want to start transitioning to a plant-based whole food diet. So I'm excited about that. The next 2 weeks are going to be very busy for me. So it's important that everybody knows that salts and sugars and even some plant fats are detrimental to our health. Cardiovascular disease is the number one. This is what drives me nuts. And these plant-based doctors have to be, I don't know how they sleep at night. The number one killer on the planet is cardiovascular disease. It is also the very first killer to be cured 100% through diet. How are more people dying of the number one cause of death when the answer is in plants? The reason is people are addicted to salts and sugars and fat. And everyone around me is dying. Everybody around me is passing away because they needed their bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Eggs are very bad. Oh, something else. I'm going to share this link. Dr. Ornish, basically one of the founders, he set the precedence for Dr. Esselstyn's protocol. Dr. Esselstyn altered the Dr. Ornish program because Dr. Ornish said eat egg whites and eat non-fat milks. I saw a video 2 days ago. He's removed it from his protocols. Gone. It's 100% plant-based, no oil, salts, or sugars, no animals whatsoever, 100% vegan. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ornish, because his impact in the community is very, very high. So I will share, if I haven't already, that video where he states publicly 2 days ago or 1 day ago that he removed them from his protocols. Thank you, Dr. Ornish. I'm glad you took it to the Esselstyn level, which is interesting. Why the frowny face? Eggs kill. Eggs cause cancer in females. Eggs cause bowel cancers in men. colorectal cancer. It also causes cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. So those of you that have diabetes, reach out to me. If you're having a difficult time transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet and your physician or your primary care doctor told you to eat the Mediterranean diet, no. Eat it minus the fish and the added oils because your type 2 will never go away. 141 cases of type 2 diabetes reversals, doctor verified, and it's only in about a year and change now. Let me help you with it as well. The ones that I've worked with that didn't reverse their diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol couldn't keep to the protocol. Here's another one. Cheat days, which 3 months ago I got rid of for the most part. If you cheat, I know a lot of vegans that are on a plant-based diet and they go out to eat and they don't know what to eat. So you get salad dressings that are full of fat and you get French fries. If you eat a saturated food, vegan or not, 1 or 2 times a month, the next time you get your blood work, it's going to raise your cholesterol level between 90 and 110 points. Isn't that scary? 100-point rise in blood serum cholesterol because you had deep fried fries twice. Crazy. Okay, awesome, Stacy. Thank you for joining. Well, no, Robert, it comes with a caveat. If you have high cholesterol, the answer is absolutely no. You cannot eat avocados. Dr. Greger says that you can consume between 3 and 6 avocados a day through mono and polyunsaturated fats, and it's okay. No. 20 to 25% of the population are hypersensitive to plant fats also. It will rise your blood serum cholesterols. It will create and it will mitigate your ability to reverse type 2 diabetes if you have it. So it includes nuts, seeds, and avocados off the table with the exception of the Caldwell-Esselstyn protocol, and that is 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground flax meal per day. Now, I removed those out of my diet. I got my blood work. My HDL was lower than it should have been. My doctor said it's absolutely fine. It's 38 out of a 40 because I did that. HDL is no longer a metric for cardiovascular disease. Scientifically proven internationally, hundreds of studies. A low HDL or high HDL has no bearing on cardiovascular health within 1 or 2%. So it's our LDL and our triglycerides we have to worry about. So, Robert, some people can consume the 1/4 cup of nuts and 2 tablespoons of seeds a day and not have a rise in blood serum cholesterol levels. The only way you would know, coconut oil, death, bad, real bad, 0 for everybody all the way across the board. I don't care what your state of health is. Coconut oil will kill you. It 100% will guarantee exacerbation of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. No, coconut oil is horrific. On top of that, cold pressed is good. No, it's absolutely not. And if you heat coconut oil, it becomes 100% carcinogenic. It's a group 1 class. It's a class 1 carcinogenic. It causes oxidized cholesterol in the blood, which causes cancer, and it causes constriction of arterial walls, our endothelium. So no, any of you that eat coconut oil, please throw it out and don't give it away. 3 years ago when I started this protocol, I had an arsenal of oil. I threw it away. I can't even give it to my neighbor because I'm going to give them heart disease and diabetes. So no, coconut oil, huge thumbs down by nearly all high-end plant-based doctors. Don't do it. No, it's not healthy. It's not even close to healthy. Cold pressed or not, organic or not, no coconut oils. So with that, if anyone else has any questions, obviously I'm extremely hyperactive. I'm very high in energy, which is interesting because it's 1:15. I haven't eaten yet. I still do my intermittent fasting 7 days a week. I'm about 850 days into intermittent fasting. So I haven't eaten yet. My energy level is off the chart, as you can see. So I'm very excited. I'm just very excited to be able to do this. So I'm going to go back inside, going to prepare some food for Betsy. We have oil-free, low-sodium, sugar-free foods. I prepare over 100 meals a week for my clients that are fortunate enough to live within an hour of me, that I can take advantage of what I can do. So if anyone else does not have any questions, I will terminate our video. That's a weird thing to say. I will end the video pleasantly, calm myself down. It's very snowy, very cold here. It's like 16 degrees here. So I thank you all for watching. Keep your salts to a minimum. Remove processed sugars. No, Rob, no. No oils. You cannot heat oil. Oxidized oils at all levels cause cancer. It causes bad things. Look it up. Go to the web and look up oxidized heated oil. It is so bad. No, that's okay, Rob. I will stay as long as I need to, but no, rapeseed, grapeseed. No, 20, 30 years ago, they were labeled as healthy oils, and they're not in their cold pressed state. And when you heat them, oxidized oil lipids become carcinogenic at the highest level. It's over 100% chance of cancer. It's going to destroy the endotheliums, which is the lining of your arteries. Never heat oil, ever. Never ingested cold pressed or cold or raw or warmed, ever. Get your oils from plants. There's oil in watermelon. There's oil in a grapefruit. There's oil in a cucumber. There's oil in dark leafy greens. People argue with me that we need fats because some of the vitamins and nutrients are oil soluble. They're in greens. They're in fruit. They're in mangoes. So no, we don't need the fruit combined or food combined to process any of our nutrients. It's all there already for us. Just like we need vitamin C for iron, there's iron in greens, but there's also vitamin C in greens. So there's no reason to take those supplements either. Feel free to comment down below with any other questions I didn't address, and I'll do another video as soon as I can. I've been very busy lately, so I apologize for my lack of live feeds. So, as always, group hugs to all of you. Chef Jeff, I love you all. Stay in tune with some of the information that I share. Well, all the information I share. And do your own research. Make your own decisions. Just kind of hold in high regard some of the information, because I do this 8 hours a day, 7 days a week with no days off. And I corroborate a lot of data. So I want the most accurate information provided to you in as real time as I possibly can. Every single one of you I love beyond a reasonable doubt. Your health is utmost important to me. And if I can make the slightest change in your day, my day is fine and my day is perfect. So Chef Jeff over and out. Love you all. Group hugs, and comment below or reach out to me directly and we'll continue the conversation. So love you all. Chef Jeff, enjoy your day. Love you all.